Que suerte que Tere went after Julian with that great cock. I was sweating over there. So how do I beat that? Martin Espada was a poetry teacher for me at UMass Amherst, would have been waiting for me to try to step it up, but I would have failed. What a great talk. I want you to imagine to be elected, having been a chubby kid from the projects from your hometown, to be the mayor, but before that to be a city councilor, and be elected with the first big wave of other city councilors, a majority of the city council Hispanic, majority on the school board Hispanic, the first popularly elected mayor of the city Latino, Barack Obama is president, Deval Patrick is governor. Pretty cool. So I get to be a city councilor in that environment. Yeah, it wasn't so cool. Things got weird for us in Lawrence. And we ended up spending 4 years of our most important times with such a great lineup to support us. It ended up being some of our darkest times. And we decided at a point that we had to run a campaign to really change our city. And we did that after 4 years of sitting on the city council. We thought it would be important to try to really raise the issues that face the city of Lawrence. And we did that. Now, the hardest thing to do, and people will tell you, as you've seen, to do is to unseat a popularly sitting mayor. To unseat any elected official that's sitting is hard, but to sit a popularly sitting mayor is the most difficult because as they go door to door, as I found out from my re-election, you can fix potholes as you go door to door. Hey, I'll get it right. You know, you can do those things in a hobby when everybody else is running against you. You can only tell them what they're going to do. Well, I took no pride in having to run against the first popularly elected Latino mayor in the city of Lawrence, but I did take it as an important thing and something that took a lot of courage for us to do. But we did it in a way that was not ugly, to use a good term. It was a way that we could talk about the things that we needed, the opportunities that we were missing, and what we would do if we got to get there. Because what we found at the doors were, hey, I'm running for mayor. My name is Dan Rivera. I'm running for mayor. They'd say, great, I'm not going to vote for the other guy, but what are you going to do? And so we found out quickly that we couldn't just be, we're not the other guy. We had to really say what we're going to do. And having been brought up in the city of Lawrence and having faced all the issues that we do face every day, the agenda was clear for us. It was education, public safety, economic development. Words that really mean nothing to people who need those things. Those are just buzzwords, political buzzwords. But what it meant for public safety was that the police department had to look like us and act like us and understand us. What it meant for education is that the teachers had to look like us and the curriculum had to include us. And that the policies that they were in there, that the money that was being spent in a way that empowered us. And for economic development, it meant, empowering bodegas and barbershops and salons, just the same as big mills and big companies like Raytheon and New Balance. And so we were able to do those things, but the problem is that when you get into those spaces that we heard so much today, so eloquently before from the Congresswoman, is that you feel like you're all by yourself. And I didn't know that I was doing this at the time, but I brought my friends along. And before we knew it, we had unintentionally hired the first Latino DPW director in the Commonwealth, the first female city engineer for the Commonwealth, who's a Latina, the first water commissioner for the Commonwealth, who's a Latino, who's also the first Latino member on the MWRA. For those of you guys that play the MWRA rates, Brian Pena, he's on there, he's from Lawrence. The treasurer, the personnel director, the first Latina detective in the police department. This was all because we just thought we brought all the good people along. We wanted them to do the work of every day. And plus, we found when we did some research that if you were an abuela in Lawrence and you didn't speak English, that there was an 80% chance that the person that came to respond to an issue you had from the police department didn't speak your language. 80% chance. In your highest need, your most important time, the person wouldn't be able to communicate with you. And we told that to civil service, and they heard us, and they let us put an 8-person, all-Latino police class into the academy. So there's a lot more to tell. We've been doing this for 6 years, but because I'm standing between you and your break, and I understand that this is the important thing, I want to let you know that what we ended up doing with this, especially in the police department, but all across all the departments in the city of Lawrence, because again, remember, we are still a majority minority community, that we expect before the end of this calendar year to be 50% Latino people of color in the police department. That's not the news. The news is that by the end of next calendar year that we're going to be a majority minority police department. And we think that'd be the only one in the nation. Now I know some of you thinking, hey, cops aren't the answer to everything. But what I was seeing when I first became police officer, the police officers that were in charge of our department say, hey, here are the 8 guys we want you to hire. So, well, what are the rest of the people that are applied? No, don't worry about those guys. These are the 8 guys we want you to hire. You wouldn't be surprised that there weren't many Latinos in it. So we had to fight to take away the process from the police department and hire our police officers a different way. And you would be surprised that that civil service is supposed to be something that's fair and balanced and ended up being something that hurt us every time we went to them. But it does make a difference when a kid who went to Lawrence High School pulls over a guy who looks like his uncle, and he talks to him in Spanish, and he explains to him why he's in a hurry and he's in a rush. It does make a difference. Because what keeps me up at night is that somebody is gonna come to a scene of a crime or come to somebody's house and pull a weapon on a kid and shoot him. That's the stuff that keeps me up at night. But if we don't do the work that we've done every day to make it so that when that kid does pull up to a crime, the police officer shows up, it looks like his brother, that he's less likely to put the gun out of his holster. That he's more likely to put his arm around the kid's shoulder. And so I do the boring work of running a city north of Boston, but my name is Rivera, and this is how I amplify.